Hey everybody, it is time. The thing we've all been waiting for so long has finally arrived, and I am so glad to be here. I'm Chris Wall, executive producer and showrunner of the Wingfeather Saga animated series, and welcome tonight to the event you've all been waiting for. Sorry, not this one. That was cool too. Wingfeather Saga Season 2 has arrived. Yes! Oh man. When Season 1 ended in March of last year, we just couldn't wait to show you what we've been working on, and now it is out there. So many of you, thousands and thousands, have watched episode 1, and thank you. So stinking cool. We are going to do this new format where the episodes come out on Friday, and then on Tuesday nights we're going to live stream and have a little special guest moment and talk to you, the fans, about what we just saw, unpack the episode, and then sneak some new stuff for the next episode coming out this Friday, episode 2, including releasing the title. Some of you have been asking, what are the episode titles? Well, we're going to let you know every week. Every Tuesday, we're going to tell you what the new episode title for the next one. Some of them, for those of you that have read the books, will recognize these names. It's kind of fun to ring the bell on that sometimes. All right, lots to go over tonight, but one of the things I've heard a lot this week is, wait, Season 2 is out? I didn't know. And sorry about that. Some people got caught unawares, but Season 2 is out. It's going to stream every week over the next 7 weeks. 7 new episodes in Season 2, and every Friday at 2 o'clock Standard Time, Central Time here in Tennessee. It will be live in the Angel Studios app, and you can see the schedule there. April 5th, of course, was last Friday, and then on through, ending on May 17th. If you've missed episode 1, I'm just going to tell you right now, tonight will be some spoilers. We don't want to ruin that for you. If you've read the books, not too many spoilers, but if you haven't watched it yet, just know that's what we're in for. I'm going to simultaneously try to answer stuff in the chat. Been chatting with folks ahead of time in YouTube and in the Guild. If you have questions, send them our way. I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I can near the end of our time together. And if you haven't watched the episodes and you're like, where can I find them? You can go to angelstudios.com on a website or download the Angel Studios app. It's free to download. And you can choose to join us in supporting the show by becoming a Wingfeather Saga Guild member. That is new for Season 2. We have a Guild membership opportunity that helps support the show. We'll talk more about that later, but the bottom line is, folks, if you want to see Season 3, which is currently on hold, join the Guild and you can help us make Season 3 and beyond. So more information out there at angel.com/wingfeatherguild. But like a lot of other places in which you enjoy content, there is a small fee per month to come join us and support the show. So just know that every time that you come and support us on a monthly basis, it's helping us to make new episodes, which we can't wait to do for you. All right, tonight we are so excited. We have an interview with Jodi Benson. Jodi, if you don't know this, plays Nia Wingfeather, the mother in our story. She is incredible. Jodi, of course, longtime actress and voice actress. Many of you remember her as the voice of Ariel in Little Mermaid. And she was so kind to come join us for our red carpet premiere event. And we're going to tell you more about that in a minute, and then sit down with us and have a chat about this episode. We had just watched it. So she's not actually here live with me sitting here, but she was in the studio with us while we were together. She is a very busy lady. She travels all over the place and still does amazing work, both in the Disney world and all the princesses, and of course does some live theater. Just so talented. I can't wait for you to hear that interview coming up in just a little bit. We're also, tonight, are so excited to finally have our Season 2 official release trailer. This took a long time, folks. We wanted to get it just right, and it just literally came out of the oven, the editorial oven, just about an hour ago, actually. And we're going to play that for you tonight. We'll probably spend the rest of our time together talking about that trailer because it's incredible. That's going to come up near the end of our time together. And then, of course, we'll do some Q&A. All right, so what did we watch last week? Well, we saw episode 1 of Season 2, picks up right where we left off. Very little time has elapsed between Season 1 and 2. And to kind of give you a quick recap, we cut together this short video that kind of gives some of the highlights of what was in episode 1. So check that out right here.
Goodwood is crawling with fangs.
The Igiby children are the jewels of an era.
Uncle Pete, what happened to your hands?
Fangs, assemble! Prepare to march! Time to get out of here, fast!
We have to go back for Uncle Arthur.
We have to keep going.
I once translated an ancient text that mentioned a miller's bridge.
If there's no bridge, we'll be trapped with our backs to the sea.
Oh, man. So intense. Oh, look, a relic. This just appeared. Anyone know what this is from? Hit in the chat if you know what this is from. But this is a legitimate prop right here that was hanging off of the back of something very important that I stole. I also had to move it, so there you go. But anybody know what this is? It's a lantern off of the back of the Black Carriage. So we had a red carpet event here in Franklin, Tennessee, just outside Nashville. Invited some of our amazing investors who were part of that journey in season 1 and 2, and then our crew and everybody to over to the factory in Franklin. If you've ever been to Franklin, you probably know this place. It actually was where I began my career with VeggieTales. We were in that same office, and it worked out as a great location. We had people in costume. We had people, and it was all themed out. So Mrs. Wall was the producer of the event, Heather Wall, my wife, and we had so much fun. Our crew helped make a bunch of cool stuff because we were in a factory, and so we did, all the Fork Factory things. There's one on here that's very funny. Okay, and then we also, here's another one. This one's probably one of my favorites too. Weapons don't build themselves. Had a lot of fun in the Fork Factory, a big part of season 2, as you know. We have a short recap video to tell you about what happened at this event I want to show you right now.
Greetings, those who've come from near and far. We are pleased to have you here tonight for the Season 2 premiere of the Wingfeather Saga.
Roll the video. It was that awesome. It was incredible. And we didn't keep it to ourselves. We actually had an amazing video crew that you saw some of their footage just now, actually filmed the entire event, and we got to then edit that together into a really cool thing that we played Friday night. For those of you that may have seen it at the Friday night premiere this last week, that has been now edited a little bit tighter because it doesn't have the episode contained in it. And it's in part of the guild. One of those cool bonus features that all of you that are supporting us and helping us to make Wingfeather Saga Season 3, we're giving some cool content like that, which includes an hour-long red carpet event, very special guests. We're so excited. Some of you are out on YouTube here right now may know a guy named Destin. He does the channel Smarter Every Day. Good friend, and was at the event with his family and actually helped host a portion of that. You'll see him in that video. We had magicians and fencers and just like amazing stuff. So check out that video if you haven't. It's inside the guild. It is the red carpet event. If you are not part of our Wingfeather Guild, please consider supporting us. Join the guild. The plans are starting as low as $12 a month, right? We are community-supported animated series, and your support helps us to make all this happen. And it has from day one. We are here because of you. We'll talk about that more later, but we are not here because there was some studio that funded us. Angel Studios, our partner, helps distribute and market the show. But you guys, the crowd and our supporters, are helping fund this series ongoing. It's amazing. And so the Wingfeather Guild is a new way to do that. Angel.com/Wingfeather Guild. You can learn more about that and see if that is something you guys can join with us. Okay, enough of that. I am so excited to introduce Jodi Benson here, and we're going to talk a little bit together in this interview about her reaction to episode 1 of season 2. So please welcome Jodi Benson. Hey everyone, Chris Wall here. I'm joined by Jodi Benson, voice of Nia. Welcome. That is an amazing first episode, if I say so myself.
Oh my gosh, I'm totally stressed out. I
love
was like, and I know what's going to happen. Like, I read the script, recorded the lines, and I'm still watching it like, what is happening?
Yeah.
What is going to happen?
So compared to where we started the story in season 1, episode 1, think about that.
Yeah.
Just in the garden chasing thwats.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
To now
raising vegetables.
running for your life.
Cooking. I was cooking all the time.
Your kids falling in a rockroach den.
I mean, what is that thing? That thing is frightening. I had no idea it was going to be that huge and scary.
We talk a lot about what scares us in production. So the writer's room, and then it's a UFO and it explodes, right? You come up, and then somebody somewhere is like, I can't make that.
Yeah.
The rockroach den scared us.
Yes.
Like, how do you make that? How do you make it convincing?
Who likes roaches? Anybody like roaches? Growing up in New York City, it's like, spending time in New York. No, roaches they're not good. Especially when they're huge like that.
What I loved most about Nia in this episode, I have to tell you, is the sense of strength, resiliency. I've actually had some folks comment online about the way in which you're portraying Nia, even in these very intense moments. There's a warmth and empathy while being direct. And this is so much of you, Jodi.
Is it?
Ability to be direct and warm.
I hope.
Right?
I hope so. You'll have to check in with my husband and my kids.
Talk about the journey for Nia from season 1, right? Where she's protecting her mother.
Well, she's baking. I mean, she's preparing food and she's setting a table, and she just had, kind of a somewhat normal life in season 1. But season 2, come on, she's like a warrior, The outfit, I love the change of the outfit. Get rid of the skirt dress and get the gauchos going. And she just, she's a warrior, she's mighty, she's so brave, but she's incredibly calm. I think she's much calmer than I would be.
Sure.
In all of the drama that we just saw.
A scene that I would point to in particular is the kids have fallen in.
Right.
She's looking into the hole of this.
Yeah.
And she goes, Oscar, help me, and grabs this log and thrusts it down in there to make a ladder.
Yeah.
This kind of take action.
Well, I think too, as a parent, you have this supernatural strength that kicks in when your child's life is in danger. And that kind of is what's happening to Nia. You can see that she is a warrior, but all of a sudden she becomes like this beast. And she's so powerful and she's so strong. But throughout it all, she's very calm, very calm.
Speaking of Sixth Sense, she's preparing their stores for their travel they're about to go through.
Yeah.
And
she knows.
without looking.
Without even looking.
Knows.
Don't you dare even think about touching this.
And which child it is, right? And which child.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's going to have to last you for the next couple of weeks.
Right.
But thinking in terms of, she's always 20 steps ahead, of what's happening around her. And that's an incredible gift that she has.
In season 1, we talked a lot about her keeping of secrets and to try to protect the kids. She's now told them about who they are and where they're from and what their role might be in the world. There's a sweet moment in the middle of this where she is able to talk more about what happened with Uncle Pete, Uncle Arthur.
Right.
What happened with Lily and her leg. It seems like something's kind of unlocked in her where she's now able to start talking about these things.
Well, I think, again, season 1, she's protecting her children, and she should, from the truth for that time. But once she reveals to them their real identity, I love how she kind of feeds into each one of them individually to help them rise up to believe their identity. Like she knows who they are. They know who they are, but they don't believe who they are. But she does. So it's like they don't have the faith in themselves yet, but she has more than enough. So she builds them up. She lets them know, you may not get who you are, I do, but I'm going to help you to believe who you are. And that's a beautiful thing that a mom can do. And we do that with our kids. We help them rise up to their potential, even if they don't see it themselves.
Well, and so that's an interesting journey because all three kids have a different response.
Right.
So if season finale, season 1, here's the truth about who you are. Getting into this one, now we see how they feel about it. So Janner is like, I got to be like Uncle Pete. I got to be like that guy because he's awesome, and I'm intimidated by that. And then he's also looking at Tink, Kalmar, going, what's going on with you?
Right.
You're not being kingly. I have an idea of what you should be, and you're not being that. This is going to play out, of course, over all of season 2.
Yep.
And then Lily feeling inept.
That she doesn't have value.
You said I have a thing, but I don't see what that is exactly.
She doesn't get that. She doesn't see, that it's a big gift. She doesn't see that. It's not fancy enough. It's not showing off enough. And it has absolutely no value. But she doesn't know the big picture. And as a parent, and I think for Nia, her design is to have that big picture. She does know what each of their gifts means and the value and how integral and how important each one of their gifts are. There's also a little bit of a compare and compete thing going on, I think, for the kids too, because they're kind of like, I want your gift. Your
100%.
gift is much better.
Yep.
Or I want that gift, I don't want my gift. I think each one of them are kind of playing off of each other, trying to figure it out since they just found out.
Sure.
And that's kind of typical of a kid though too, like, I want what they have.
It is.
I don't have enough.
There's a social value to it right now that I don't see how much
Immediate gratification. Yeah, I don't see that. But Nia has a beautiful gift of loving her kids, loving them exactly where they are, with their shortcomings. But she does have the view of the big picture. Yeah. And so her job is to fill them up, each one of their tanks, to fill them up, to help them to believe who they really are.
I want to comment too that one of the things that we know about Nia, and you're definitely informing this in your performance, is that the road before them is unclear.
Right.
How they would possibly fulfill these gifts, because when they left Anira, as Poto says, it was burning, right? Like, there's nothing there. What are we even talking about? Right. And there's some tension there of your desire to keep kind of imbuing this, like, there is a future potentially. I don't know how it gets there. And there's a faith element for her, right?
It's
of like,
all faith.
I think there's something out here, and the kid's like, great, how?
Right.
I don't know.
Don't know yet. We just need to trust the maker. There in this season, there are a lot of unknowns. There's no real set plan. There's no real clear path. But I think Nia and Poto trust and love one another to know that they've got each other's back. But I do think that Nia is walking completely by faith and not by sight. On this,
and there's things
in this journey right now.
It seems like her husband, Esben, the king, also didn't relay as much information as maybe he would have liked, because there's gaps there where she's having to say, listen, Poto, I don't know what's gonna, but Esben wanted this for some reason, so we should probably kind of lean in here.
The other thing I love about Nia, and this is a quality as a mom that I have tried to hold on to, it is okay to tell your kids, I don't know. I don't know. That's a pure form of relationship and communication, to not have all the answers and to be okay with that. I think it lets a child, when I say to my kid, I don't really have the answer. I think I just said this to my daughter yesterday. I don't really know, sweetie, but I do know that there's a God that does know. God knows. I don't. He hasn't revealed it yet, but guess what? I'm going to trust him, and I'm not going to fret and worry. And I see that in Nia. She has no idea maybe where the next turn is going to lead them, but walking a pure journey, faith walk, is powerful for the kids to see. That they love their mom, they trust their mom, but she doesn't have all the answers. It's
At the
gonna
end of
be
this
okay.
episode, they're literally on a cliff
Literally.
without an answer, right? A
Exactly.
cliffhanger. There you go. That's for you at home.
We give that a dad joke. That's a dad
Thank you.
joke,
Thank you.
9 out
I'll
of
take it.
10. Yeah, literally, they're on a cliff, and I believe, my last line is Nia basically is like, I guess there used to be a bridge. It's not there now.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, it is what it is, and here we go. I don't have the answers.
So
That's tricky.
we've gotten to see episode 2, so we know it's coming out. Let's tease for the folks at home kind of what they look forward to.
More excitement and more
action.
stress.
More stress.
There's more stress.
More stress. There's going to be some real peril and the facing of potential loss, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think as a parent, this is something that we all have to walk through. Mm-hmm. Whether that is my pet hamster died, or whether that's my grandfather passed away. There's these losses, and as
Right.
parents, you want to shield them from these things, but things happen. And I think it's one of the things that I deeply connected with in the books, reading them years ago to my kids, was like, ooh, we're going to have to face some really scary threats that may actually hurt us and cost us.
Right.
I'm curious your journey as an actress and of course as a mother. How you face these things.
Yeah. There's no easy way around grief. There's no easy path when it comes to loss. We all have to walk through it. For our family, it was losing my niece Kylie from pediatric cancer at the age of 12, and it took a huge turn. Make a long story short, she was on the path to total recovery with no disease evidence found, and within a matter of 7 days passed. So not only did we go on this journey of her 11-month battle with cancer, but we were looking at the success and the future for her, to have that all go upside down within a week as a family. So our kids, it was huge for all of us, but I think especially for the kids, shaking your foundation of faith to know, wait a minute, we were going this way, and then all of a sudden the rug got pulled out and we turned our lives upside down. And to be a parent, to be able to say, yes, that has happened to you, to our family. What do we do? How do we walk through this grief walk? There was no easy way except to walk through and to allow yourself that grief. So, as we're dealing with loss in season 2, it's not pretty. And you can't make it look pretty. You can't dress it up and make it a happy story. It's not.
You've told a lot of stories in your career. Is there a particular thing that draws you to this kind of story, where there are real consequences? I think sometimes in fairy tale, we kind of can pull some of those back. Obviously, very formative for you with Little Mermaid.
Right.
There were real consequences to choices that folks made.
Sure.
I think in this story, we're into it. Talk to me about kind of engaging that kind of story and what value you see in that.
I think the greatest thing about storytelling is the honesty of it. Fairy tale, fairy tale is amazing, but pure honesty where characters are real and authentic and vulnerable, that's where people can say, oh yeah, I can relate to that. I can make sense of that. As storytellers, what we're trying to do in being authentic with storytelling is to let people feel that they can relate, that it's relatable. And I think that's what's beautiful about Wingfeather Saga. There are so many emotions going on, and they're not all pretty and wrapped and dressed nicely and look like pretend. They're real emotions that families have to go through and that children have to process through. And so I think having authenticity and honesty are probably the most important elements of telling a story. And those are the things I've kind of based my career on, are being able to be vulnerable. And that's not always pretty, and and it doesn't always feel nice, We have some sadness, we have some icky feelings and frustration and all of those things. But again, those are the emotions that we can help our kids process through.
Well, you are bringing so much of that to this character of Nia, and it is our great delight to have you.
Oh, well, I'm just so thrilled to be part of this project, to get to work with you and with Andrew and all the amazing people at Shining Isle and Angel Studios and our cast, our unbelievable crew. So it's really great, and I can't wait to see all of season 2 and as we get started on season 3.
So, season 2 has a lot more in store, but tonight we have a very special thing, which is folks have been asking for it for quite a while, but a full trailer of season 2, like what's in store for us. And so we're so glad to get to premiere that for you. Here is the full release trailer for season 2. Check it out.
Anira is sacked and gone. When we escaped, the whole island was burning.
So where do we go now?
We'll make our way west to Torborough, cross there to Dugtown, then light out for the ice prairies.
Run, Igibys! They're coming!
Mr. Retief! You're alive!
Am I?
The only thing left to do is surrender. Where can you run that Nag the Nameless will not find you?
There's too many.
Let us even the odds! Oh, thy time to flee, good sir, is nigh!
We have to stick together. I'm the throne warden. You're the king. What if I don't want to be king? Why are you acting like this?
I will not leave Dugtown without Jenner and Kelmar.
This ain't the Dugtown militia on your tail. You're being hunted by stranders as we speak.
Girl makes a point. They know the plan. They'll stick together.
Raise the gates!
Don't you worry, boy. This isn't really happening. It's just the start of a pretty little never-ending nightmare.
I failed the king. I'm sorry.
If I survive these times, perhaps it will be my lot to scribe what I've witnessed.
Get out of there, son!
Tale of legends come to life. He is near you, child.
This is the place. This is not the place.
Oh.
This is not the place. So for all it is so much action, but there's also some great bits, right? There's some really fun interpersonal stuff that's happening. But
Yes.
that looks cool, huh?
Oh my gosh, it looks so exciting. So
I have like some
exciting.
childhood things being fulfilled in the tunnel shot.
Yeah.
Like I loved building in tunnels as kids. So the burrows, as we know from the books.
burrows.
That was
Very
really fun.
It's going to be amazing. Yeah, I'm excited.
It's a long journey, and
episode.
everything that you were hoping, that Nia was hoping to accomplish, keeping her family safe, is getting pressed upon and plans are
blown
changing.
out of the water.
Yeah.
Literally. Oh my gosh, I think that's what makes my heart race watching this as a parent, to not be able to keep your kids with you.
Yeah.
And keep them safe.
Yeah, which I have to tell you, this is actually important. I don't know that you know this. Your performance has changed the story and how we've gotten into this in the writer's room.
Really?
So, yeah, for real. So much of the intensity that you brought with, the kids needing to stay near you and all that kind of stuff, right? To having them get separated from you, not to spoil too much in season 2, but the kids are going to get pressured and separated.
Yeah.
That we were like, I know Nia now because of the version you've given us. She couldn't abide that.
Yeah.
And so there's some great sequences coming up in season 2 in which you really see Nia just torn apart with this.
Yeah.
Which frankly, the books
It's
don't cover this.
torture.
The books don't cover this. And so it's one of the cool things about adapting for a TV series is we get to get into Nia a bit more and understand how would she feel this? How would she kind of grapple with it?
It's ripping your heart in two. Yeah. I mean, it's so painful. I mean, just the thought of it makes my stomach turn. To think that you can't keep your kids with you, not only that you can't keep them with you, but you cannot guarantee their safety. And they are walking into pure and utter danger.
Right. Yep.
I mean, it's the worst case scenario.
Yep.
Right? So it's very stressful watching that trailer.
The safety of their cottage is over.
It's
a lot of
done.
fans have talked about the scene in episode, I think it's 5 of season 1, when they're getting their last look at their house, right? Knowing we don't come back
That's
here.
it. Yeah.
And this
Life
place
will
of
never
safety
be
and
the
warmth is now ended, and now we got to find a new place for this. And it's a long journey.
Right.
That carries the season to season 2 and 3 and beyond.
And to walk away from that safety net of having a home, walking away as a family unit is awesome because you're still together. But now we've walked away from the safety of a home and we're divided. That's just, yeah.
It's a lot.
Not a happy time for this mom.
So lots coming up in season 2. So glad that we got to share the trailer premiere together.
Yes.
That's so fun.
Thank you for completely stressing me out. This has been,
I'm going to go down in history.
Great.
Chris Wall, guy who stressed Jodi Benson out. Thank you very much.
It's a good stress, it's
yeah.
just that, and of course I know what happens, but when I watch it, I forget, and you get caught up in the characters and in the story, and you get caught up in this world, and I kind of forget that I'm part of Nia, and I just start getting involved in the storytelling aspect of it, and that's when my heart starts racing. So,
well,
it's
lots
really
more to come.
exciting.
Season 2 coming up next week, and all 7 episodes coming out week to week. Can't wait for you guys to see those.
Can't wait.
Jodi, thanks for spending a minute to hang out with us.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you.
It's been awesome to be here. I appreciate it, and thank you for having me be part of this project. It's just really been life-changing.
Thank you. All right. See y'all again soon.
Bye.
Well, it's back to just me. No more Jodi, but she's wonderful. So glad that she's part of our series. Just generous and talented. One of the things that people have noticed right away is that Jodi shifted now in season 2, where you're getting to hear more of her accent. One of the things we tried in season 1 was the idea that Nia, because she's foreign to Scree, was trying to hide her accent. And so doing kind of an Irish lilt accent, but hiding it was the challenge in season 1. And now in season 2, she's kind of letting that out a little bit more as we go. Can we just talk about that trailer? I mean, okay, we're going to take a bunch of your questions. So hit those in the various chats. I've been watching and seeing some of these as we go. Get those in there so we can talk about these questions you have. But the number one question I get is, how can I help? People love the stories, they've read the books, they watch the animated series, and they want to know how to help. Well, first and foremost, of course, joining the Wingfeather Guild with Angel Studios is awesome. And if you have done that, thank you. The second way you can help is tell your friends. I think sometimes for us, a show or a story or a book or otherwise, it takes a couple people sometimes to convince us that something's actually good. And as you know, if you've read the book and know these stories, they're really good. And I think we're on a journey that you're going to really love. But we need your help. If you want season 3, it's on hold currently. If you want season 3 to keep going, you can help by joining the Wingfeather Saga Guild and having your friends join and being able to enjoy season 2, all of us together. They also have some other perks available. You can check those out. But the other way, of course, a lot of people love to help is by buying merch. Merch is funny because it goes 2 ways, right? Both when you buy it, of course, it helps us. Of course, we still have to make those items, but it does help us that way. And then you get to walk around with cool stuff. Notice what I'm wearing? New merch. This is a new shirt that actually just came out on the Jewels of Anira. It's in the store right now, and you can go check it out. We also have a couple more new shirts. I've got some samples here. These are all large size, so they're kind of draping off of me, but there you go. We have a You Didn't Tell Me There'd Be Trolls shirt. That one's pretty fantastic. You didn't tell me there'd be trolls. This is the one I think that Keith Lengo plays in the voice acting, in case you're curious. I play one of them, he plays the other. Froome and Churley. Froome and Churley are their names. I can't tell which one's which. And then the last one is this one. It is an Oscar shirt. All of the old legends must have begun as ordinary days. It's what we used in the trailer, the teaser trailer. Yeah, so anyways, these shirts are out there. Every time you buy a shirt, you're helping us make the show. And this new cork mug just got out there. It's really pretty, green with orange on the inside. It's a great one. It has the Wingfeather Saga logo on one side, and then the 3 honored and great subjects logos on the other side. I'm not going to talk about this tonight, but y'all, this is the coolest thing. We're going to spend a whole video, I think, talking about this. But we have these new pins in the store. I can't even begin to describe how cool these are. If you are on our Wingfeather Saga fan group on Facebook, if you're not, please go. But if you're not, go scroll on that and you're going to find someone sampling this that bought one of these. They're these AR enhanced pins. That's all I can say. I'll show you more about this later, but I'm just going to highlight it for you. It's too much to unpack in one little thing here. So yeah, that's how you can help the show. Please join the guild. Join the Wingfeather Saga Guild. We'd appreciate it. Your monthly support will help us to get into season 3 and get it out. It's currently on hold. We want to get back into it, so help us do that. And then secondly, please tell your friends. Word of mouth does so much. Someone hears about a thing, but then when someone says, no, it's really good, they jump in. And we'd appreciate that. And of course, you can check out all of our cool merch. Okay, it is time. It is time to answer your pressing questions. What are those? I've answered some of them in the chats, but we got a few of these. This is I'm going to hit this one right away because everybody keeps asking this question every time I'm in the chats and hanging out. What's your favorite character? Yeah, I love all my kids. No, I mean, I love all the characters in the show. Janner is the one that I identified the most with as I was reading the stories. I'm the oldest in our family, and just kind of his journey and wrestling with responsibility and all that. That was something that I definitely connected with. How about you? Throw in the chat. Who is your favorite character? Put it out there. See if you spell it right. Thank you, Sarah. All right. What are your questions? Hit me. Any characters from season 1 returning? Yes, quite a few characters. Zuzab, there's been a long discussion about this. I don't think Zuzab made it. Andrew and I are in disagreement about this, about whether he survived the attack of the giant rock roach or not. But yes, a lot of great actors returning. Christopher Robin Miller, who played Commander Norm, you're going to hear him again as a Ridge Runner named Mubrick in the Fork Factory. And then Adam Seitz is back. He played Mayor Blagus, and he's going to play Mig Landers. He's awesome. And some others that have joined us back for that. Cal, will we see Pete again in season 2? Great question. Pete just got grabbed by a troll and is being held at the edge of the Scully. Now, there's a key moment in this I want to highlight. We're breaking down the episode here. As the rock roach attacks the giant one, General Crack says, "Take him. He's too important. We don't want to hurt Pete. He's important to us." Ooh, he's too important. Why is he important? We're going to get it more into that. But Pete is known by General Crack in some way. He's the Birdman, right? So we're going to see what happens with Pete. But yes, we will see him again. I think the question for you is, where do you think we'll see Pete again? Put in the comments here if you can guess. Where might Pete appear next in our version? Okay, obviously in the books it has a version of this, but I'm curious if you can guess where he's going to show up. Sarah's asking about the season 2 soundtrack. Season 2 soundtrack is on its way. I just saw the album cover today. It's beautiful. Looks like the poster. And it's sometime in late spring, early summer. But they're working on it right now, doing the mixing and mastering and all that kind of fun stuff. Yeah. All right, I'm going to answer a question you haven't asked, and you should have. Behold, this was the season 2 teaser poster that we put out, and it is exactly where episode 1 ends, on the edge of the River Blap. That is Fingap Falls right there. Many of you have seen this poster. Some of you have it because we sold it in the store. This is fun, but this is a really cool shot of both their new clothing, which you all saw in episode 1 now, and their weapons, all the cool accoutrement. Jodi and I talked about that, of course, her new outfit. but this image was one of those key images. This is going to come up quite a lot in the next episode. You want to stay tuned for this because we're going to give you a little sneak from episode 2, which comes out Friday at the end of our time together. But this scene's going to show up. That's all I'm going to guarantee you. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Keith and I talked about this. Mr. Lango, of course, is our CG productions designer, and he grew up in Buffalo, New York, near Niagara Falls. And so we had a lot of Niagara Falls input into what we wanted these falls to look like. Ellie, Chris Wall, on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard is voice acting? It's really hard. It is one thing to make a funny voice, right? I think a lot of us can probably do funny things with our voice. I grew up watching Looney Tunes and could mimic all kinds of fun voices, and I wasn't as good with my friends, but I had fun with it. In voice acting, for like what we're doing with storytelling, you have to be able to develop emotional empathy to make a character believable in a way that you want to understand how they're feeling and follow them through a story. That requires some significant acting. So one thing I suggested in the chat earlier is go read from a favorite book. And record yourself, do the voices, have fun with it, and then have a listen back and have someone else listen to it and tell you how you did. Did you communicate the emotional, whether it's comedy or drama or whatever it is, did you capture that in what you could do with your voice? It's not just making funny sounds. That's one thing that people get tripped up on is, because I can do a funny grousey sound like this, therefore I'm a voice actor. That's not how it works. You have to be able to do more than just that. So it's a great craft. There are some who are really skilled at it and some who are growing and getting better at it. So there's your answer. All right. What other questions we got? Boy, the chat is blowing up, guys. Thank you for chatting with us here. Sophie says, what's going to happen to Shaggy? He wasn't killed in episode 1. We did change that. Shaggy, we really love. And so we didn't want to deal with that right out the gate, but, I love Shaggy. He's great. What's your favorite book? Someone asked. Wingfeather co-president asked. My favorite book's probably book 2, just the plot that develops. And so we're breaking that into 2 seasons. Season 3, incidentally, is The Ice Prairies. That's what season 3 is. It's on hold. You want to see The Ice Prairies, you can help support us to make that happen. All right. What was your other question here? Epic Early. Hello, Epic Early. Glad to be here. I will be on time. I'm going to try to be on time next time. Sorry, we have a thing where I show up early to the chat, but I've got to be there 30 minutes early to be part of the club, and I wasn't today. I was only 15 minutes early, so again, thank you. I'm still curious about Fork Factory. Will there be more clips about that? Yeah, we got to get there. Slow your roll. We got to deal with this first. This is important. We'll just skip the falls. The important stuff's going to happen here. But yes, we'll definitely get to the Fork Factory. Otherwise, I wouldn't have shown you all this amazing accoutrement. Okay, what else you got? Oh, Fizz asked, is General Crack's actor talking with or without voice effects? And if there are none, how does his voice not hurt? That's a great question. We hope to have Kellen join us, Kellen Goff, who plays General Crack, and Jurgen. And yes, he has to be very careful. He can only do so much time. He also does a lot of video games in his voice acting career. But his voice is similar to mine and then can do this crazy deep growly thing. He has to be careful with it because if he grinds too hard, he will lose his voice. So I often see him when we're in sessions with some good hot tea, and he's kind of nursing it and being careful with it. But yeah, you can definitely hear it. So the question has been, do I voice a troll? Yes, I voice a troll. You probably just heard me in episode 1 doing that troll. And it's just shifting my voice really low. We didn't really add any effects to it. It's just me doing it. There's a really funny behind the scenes video I will put out on the Guild. I keep saying I'm going to do that. I will find it and put it out there of me in the booth voicing that. I think Aerwiar Archives, I think you've seen this one before. Okay, next question. Just make a 5th book. Allison, it's not my job. That's Andrew Peterson, the author. You can talk to him about it. He said he's done writing the story. It has finished. And that he will not be adding a 5th book. But you can try. Next. Chris, what do you think happened to the Schusters? Oh, man. I have such news for you. I know, in our version, what happened to the Schusters. And it's in season 3. We find out what happened to the Schusters. So you want to see that for sure. In the scene with Janner in the water, is it a dream? You're asking, Epic Early, if Janner can indeed swim or not with dragons. It's a good question. It's a reasonable good question. I'm going to leave that to your imagination until Friday's episode. All will be answered. Next question. Oh, Fizz asks who plays Ood. Ood is later, Fizz. Way later. I'm not answering that one yet. Next question. What do we got here? Here's one. Can you announce the Lego Igiby Cottage model? Okay, y'all, there is a Lego Igiby Cottage that needs your votes. It's on the Wingfeather fan group on Facebook. Please go find it and give it your votes. We would love to see it made. It's somebody that made it, and we just think it's awesome. We are certainly going to talk to Lego and see if we can get some stuff done for Wingfeather, but it's a little early in our series yet for that to happen, but we want it to. But for now, there's this really cool Igiby Cottage. It's on the Lego fan or on the Wingfeather fan group, and people have been voting for it. There's a new one that just showed up too that has lesser votes, but there's one that's kind of the OG. It's doing pretty well. Y'all can go help it make it happen. Wingfeather Saga fan asks, how long does it take to make one episode? Thank you for calling yourself Wingfeather Saga fan. That's a great name right there. About a year and a half. We make them all together, so it's like front of the line, end of the line. So there's 7 episodes. So like right now, today, when I finish our time together, I've got to listen through some music in episode 6. So we're finishing episodes 6 and 7 right now. But episode 1, we finished actually back in November, December. I'm looking off screen. Mrs. Wall is over here.
Yeah, well, we screened it at...
Oh, yeah, we showed it at Featherfest. That's right, back in November. So, it's a long train of these episodes, and then we are getting them out to you every week this time. So, yeah, very good. Yeah. What happened to Buzzard Willie? I think of Buzzard Willie as a lifelong Glipwooder. I can't imagine him ever leaving there, but I do know what happens to him. Why? Because season 3. Season 3 has been scripted and is in storyboarding, animatics, and we got up to episode 4, which features a particular battle that's really cool, and that's where we're on hold. So we're holding on that right now. We have 6 new episodes in season 3, the Ice Prairies, and yes, the fate of Buzzard Willie is known. Yeah. Sonderwalk says there's a season 2 trailer coming out in like 15 minutes. What? Yes, we wanted to show it to you guys here first, and then at 8 p.m. Central in 15 minutes, you're going to get to find it on YouTube and other places, but find it, please, and go share it with your friends. So if you love that trailer and you want to tell people about the show, that's a great way to find it, share it, link it, text it, email it, whatever you want to do. That would be great. Oh, Grace Raptor, great question. Did you make the Song of Stones yet? And Grant, I'll get to you in a second. But did you make the Song of Stones yet? Yes, that Song of Stones. And I was just listening to a mix of it today, and it's so scary. Well, it's scary. Just put it that way. But it's a dark thing, and it is really good. So if I'm going to hold on the Stranders theme until next time. All right. So we had a question from Grant. Can you throw that up there again for us? Hey, Grant. When will we see the Florid Sword? Well, we just saw him in the trailer. Any guesses who that voice actor is? We're not announcing it just yet, but we will announce it when he shows up in an episode 4. And he's really cool. He's really fantastic. I am so happy with what he did to bring that character to life. Of course, we've all heard Andrew being the Florid Sword, and it's such a fun thing, but we're really proud. So Grant's coming soon, just a little bit later in the season. All right. Oh, man, there's so many questions. It's great. Let's see. Yes, Sonderwalk. I'm actually reading this live. Why does Claxton wear a hat, Mr. Wall? Epic early folks president. Well, because he's bald underneath there is kind of what I think. And his character design, we had a lot of character design for Claxton, and we decided to give him a hat. And you'll see more of that later. But yeah, I thought that it's a straw hat. One of the things that kind of threw me off is, you'll see this in the episode 3, but there's some holes in the hat, and so you actually can see inside to his head sometimes. Yeah, it's good. One of the hardest parts about getting Claxton to come to life is his beard. He kind of looks like from Pirates of the Caribbean, the guy with the big beard. I can't remember his name. Anyways, and it's got all these strands, and so in early versions of the animation, he'd be talking and doing his stuff like this, and parts of his beard wouldn't move. They're just like fixed tubes, and it just totally threw you out. It was the best. It looked like long, noodles hanging off his face. But his final is way cooler, as you saw in that trailer. Yeah. What's my favorite song? Co-president says, Wingfeather. I love, in season 2 particularly, I love the music we have coming in episode 3. It's the Stranders themes. Just is my favorite stuff. It's really, really cool. And then if you guys saw the Friday night red carpet event, you also learned that there is a new song for season 2, a brand new song that is performed by a brilliant artist. And she performs it live, actually, during the red carpet event. And that will be featured in a little bit in episode 6 thematically, and then in episode 7, the season finale. Can't wait for you guys to. Well, if you watched it Friday, you probably already saw it. But yeah, that one's coming. Sophie says, I noticed y'all. I see your y'all. I noticed y'all changed the coffins up a bit. Yeah, because children. It was just too scary to think about putting one of our kids in the series in a coffin, as the books kind of described it. And Andrew was like, no, we can't do that. So we changed them up, and you get to see it. It's a little more like solitary confinement, still frightening, but not as terrifying. I loved the designs. It's got this, the shape is really cool, and then the kind of the mood of that room that we get to see. There's a little slot for food to go in and this kind of thing. So it's not quite as scary, but actually just was watching something with that scene today in one of our proofs, and you're gonna love it. Ooh, this is a great question. Epic Early asks, does the Song of Stone have lyrics? That's a great question. I don't want to spoil this for you because you're going to see it here in one of the episodes. But, think about Little Mermaid. Let's go back to Little Mermaid. How does Ariel have her voice taken? That was kind of one of the touchstones for us in figuring out how this melody could work. It's interesting in designing the song. Isaac from Arcadian Wild wrote it, but it needed to have harmonics that could be both minor key and really kind of disturbing, and then go into a major key where it could be used differently. No spoilers. Okay. But it's still scary either way. Why did you decide to give Marilee such short hair? It's described in the book that Marilee has short hair. We did give her, what do you guys call it? A Padawan? A little thing. But short hair was kind of how Andrew envisioned her. She's from a really tough group of people, these East Bend Stranders, and so her hairstyle seemed like it would come from that. Her relationship with her family and that sort of thing. It seemed like that was the right move for that. No, Grace the Raptor. I won't say that I'm a proud early bird. All right. What else you got? This is great. Why does Jurgen and the Sea Dragons look different in the show than the book? Fizz, that is a great question. That's actually a really good question. Why do the characters and creatures look different than maybe the illustrations you've seen in the books? So our friend Joe Sutphin was one of the early illustrators for Wingfeather Saga. Did some brilliant work in there. Of course, Aidan Peterson, Andrew's son, did a lot of illustration of characters. For the animated series, we actually make new versions of all the characters and creatures. So that they can live in their own space, so they can be part of the animated series on its own, right? And then when you read the books and see those images, you can kind of imagine a different version of them. And that was really intentional. Andrew talked a lot about designing the book covers and wanting them to look different as well. That those are not related to the animated characters. He wanted them to kind of be their own thing. And it gives us just a couple different ways to think about them, so we're not kind of locked in to one kind of rendering of them. Does that make sense? So the dragons, we wanted to kind of come up with that. Wait for the co-president. Will there be, well, you said moldings. Meldings, what it's called, meldings. But will there be meldings in season 2? Yes. And it's really disturbing. Be a sale on merch anytime soon. There was one just recently, Isabella. I don't keep track of that. Sorry. They literally hand me this merch before I sit down and say, here, show them this cool stuff. And I show it to you. Some of this I get to keep. Some of this goes back and is used elsewhere. But yeah. Grace, I wasn't early. I can't be a proud early bird. Okay. What else? Can you tell if fangs were once human? Ooh, that's a great question. I don't want to spoil anything about fangs and what and where they came from and that sort of thing. But it is a deep, dark mystery. If you've read the books, of course, you know exactly how they came to be. But we're going to leave that for later in the season. We'll talk about that some more. Okay. Evan says, Chris, you expanding most stuff in the plot like the tense friendship between Poto and Pete and Jenner and Cal. Yeah, so episode 1, the tense friendship between Poto and Pete is one of those, right? That was one that was really important to me to start to get into because it was something that we kind of addressed it in season 1, but we didn't get to the root of it. So, of course, in episode 1, we had this lovely sit down with Nia talking to Lily, explaining what's wrong with those two folks, a part of what's wrong between Pete and Poto. That's a longer thing to unpack that we'll get to later in the story, but at least getting an early understanding of kind of why the ill will between them. Yeah. And then, of course, between Jenner and Cal, this season 2 is really about their friendship, their close relationship being put under a lot of pressure as Calmar's being, pushed to be a king. And it's probably something he doesn't want, honestly. And so we see that right at the end of episode 1 when he's forced to make a decision that will impact the whole family. And that decision doesn't go terribly well. And it's just a lot of pressure for that guy. We're going to see how that pressure changes the relationship with Jenner as we go through the season. You saw a little tease in that in the new trailer. Yeah. Will there be more Jenner and Sarah moments, please? Well, Sarah, did you see in that new teaser or that new trailer a little teaser of that exact thing? Yes. And there will be Jenner and Sarah time together. They're awesome. Steph McDermott, are we going to see Holwyn in season 2? I'm not going to say who Holwyn is, but yes. In fact, this Friday. Foreshadowing about Poto's leg. We're not going to get into Poto's leg epic early until season 3. But oh boy, we get into it then. Let me tell you what. I've actually seen how the leg got damaged. We actually saw that in animatics. It's. Don't worry, it's not bloody. We did a good job with it. But Grace, can you tell Andrew what an inspiration? Yes, he is so glad to have written the story and got us on our way. Yeah, what Lily said, Katrina, exactly. He just doesn't know how to be king yet. He's just a kid, and this is a lot of pressure. In one of those scenes in episode 1, Calmar's a different voice actor. No, not the different voice actor, Sophie, but Griffin's voice has changed a little bit. And so you're hearing some of those differences. We're trying to do our best to kind of level that out a little bit, but his voice has changed. And so some of you will notice it. Others of you, maybe not. I hear it, but, Griffin is still getting it done. He's great. Will we get to see more of Shaggy, the tavern owner? Eventually, not right away. Yes, we love Shaggy, and we think he's a great character, so we want to pull him forward. Yeah. All right, let's do a couple more questions, and then I got to go. What will Cal look like? The same for now. As you know, he's going to undergo a lot of pressure, and some changes are coming. But for now, he's just Cal. New outfit. Dirty a little bit. Unselfish service theater. I love how y'all are exploring the personal emotions and relationships of the characters deeper than the book had time to do. I don't know that I'd say deeper because there's things that Andrew could articulate in the writing that we can't. But yes, we can show you those relationships. And I think what's interesting, may I comment, is that you're able to kind of put yourself into those emotions in watching it, and yes, our animators and our voice actors are putting a ton of emotional energy into how these characters are thinking about it and feeling about each other. But you get to kind of lay that in there, what you feel about it, rather than being told by the author exactly what they're feeling. But yes, it's so much fun. What's my favorite to develop in that? I think what I would love developing is looking at every scene. What is that character feeling and thinking about this moment? I don't want them to ever have a 0 there. And we talk a lot about this as a team, and certainly for the animators, is when they start a scene, this character is thinking what? They're excited. They could be bored. That's actually a decision, but they have to be engaged in some way in the scene. You won't see in Wingfeather, well, we try not to have, where any scene, there's a character who's just like nothing going on, right? They're engaged in and thinking about what's happening in the scene. I love working all that. Yes, Sandra Walk, I have read the story from Within Feather Tales. I was a part of publishing that. Yes, Mr. Pete Peterson wrote pretty violent story, but for the animated series, we'll adjust that a little bit. Epic Early, when will the Stonekeeper appear? Stonekeeper already appeared. Did you not watch season 1? Stonekeeper will appear very soon, though. right. I think we have a lot of these questions answered, and it is near the end of our time. Digital Fairy lives in South America, so we're equally excited for season 2. And we also, for those of you living in countries, of course, the dubbing process is underway with season 2. And so new languages will start showing up here very soon. Can't wait to do that. Yeah. And then Paula Wingaby, we did release this, but season 2 gets us to about chapter 49-ish of the book North Irby Eden. And then season 3 picks up right there. Yeah, that's great. Woo! That's some good questions, guys. Well done. I will stay in the chat for when we're done here, but thank you all for tuning in. Once again, we have a sneak peek for episode 2. So each week when we'll show an episode on Friday, then on Tuesday we'll have a sit down, special guest each time. Sometimes it'll be just me. Sometimes Andrew will be able to join us. The two of us will chat with you all, and we will show you a sneak peek of the upcoming episode. So episode 2 is coming this Friday. Like I said, 2 o'clock Central. And I'm ready to tell you what the title of episode 2, you ready to hear it? It's actually not that big a mystery. Episode 2 is Fingap Falls. Yeah, it's right behind me. Fingap Falls. Fingap Falls is episode 2. Okay, this image, y'all, I love this. This actually ended up, it just was an animation that worked out this way. It's a flip image of the poster behind me. Haha, isn't that funny? See, poster. Now go back to it one more time, Micah. There it is. See? I mean, it moved a little bit, but yeah, it kind of worked out this way that this was a moment that the story artist actually developed, and there it is. So much fun. All right, so again, season 2 comes out Friday, episode 2 rather comes out Friday, and we're going to end our time together this evening with a little sneak peek that tells you a little bit about what's going to happen in episode 2. So have a look at this, and I will see you in the chat on Friday. Take care.
Steady, Nugget.
What do we do now, Papa?
We stand and fight. If something terrible happens and us old codgers don't make it through this, then you kids stay together, you hear? Fight with your teeth if you have to, but stay together. I don't know what old Nag has planned for you, but you just trust the Maker and do like your father would have you do. Do like me and your ma would have you do. Don't just follow your heart. Your heart will betray you. Now, ready your weapons.
As Jimpy Johnson wrote, that bit of hoppery has bought us a wee respite. Now what?
Not sure if you're a genius or a fool, Rateep, but that was a captain's ration of grit.
Oh.